How's it going, everyone? Nico Cuevas here for FoxRadioNetwork.com. Today we are talking about Rogue One, a Star Wars story, which is out now in theaters. Now, Rogue One, a Star Wars story is the first standalone Star Wars film. And I'm sure Disney wants you to believe that because prequels tend to be a scary thing when it comes to the Star Wars universe. Well, it's safe to say that Rogue One, a Star Wars story, is the best prequel to ever come out for Star Wars and possibly almost any other film that I can think of. Star Wars Episode 1, 2, and 3 did very little to add to the original. It just seemed to make everything a little way too convenient. Rogue One, a Star Wars story, does a great job of adding urgency to Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. After I finished Rogue One, I was like, you know what, I need to go see Star Wars Episode 4 again, just to see how Rogue One actually helps the pacing and urgency of this film. And I think it does that really well, but it also works as a standout film. Rogue One is the story about how the rebellions got a hold of the Death Star plans. So Rogue One ends up becoming a really weird mix of like 007 GoldenEye meets Game of Thrones meets Zero Dark 30, which is kind of weird but mostly works. Now, if you've seen the movie Zero Dark 30, it is a war film, but it's dealing with espionage and different weird plot twists and political things, which once again, politics in Star Wars movie can be very, very scary. But for the most part, Rogue One pulls it off, even though it can get a little slow at times, especially when Forest Whitaker is on screen. I love you, Forest Whitaker. You've done a lot of great things, but you are not good in this movie. You're actually quite bad. So with all that in mind, Rogue One is a lot darker than a lot of the previous Star Wars films. But there are little hints of that joy and Star Wars magic throughout the film, which really stand out in the contrast of the darkness and bleakness of war. While the numerical series and episodes of Star Wars do a really great job of exploring the wonder and power of the Force, Rogue One completely focuses on the idea of morality when it comes to war. And it paints the rebellion in a really interesting light. We've always known Star Wars to be the ultimate battle of good versus evil. But for any Star Wars fan, we know that there is always kind of this gray area. And I don't want to give too much away about how that plays out. Which is kind of weird to say because this is a story that we've all known as Star Wars fans for quite some time. But no matter how well versed you are as a Star Wars fan or how much of a newcomer you are, the ending of this film is one of the best payoffs I've seen in a sci-fi film. The third act is non-stop action, and Gareth Edwards does a great job of showing you what it's like to be a boots-on-the-ground soldier in the Star Wars universe. In the last 15 minutes of this movie, how this movie ends might be the best 15 minutes of any Star Wars film ever. And I won't say why, just go see it. I got so excited at the end of the movie whenever I saw it, I got up and went to another theater and saw it another time. I've now seen it in a standard format and in 3D, and I will say this, do not waste your money going to the 3D. The standard is not just absolutely fine, it is one of the most visually compelling Star Wars movies we've ever seen, and it is gorgeous in the standard format. And also, it'll be nice to save that money from the 3D and go buy some awesome Star Wars Rogue One toys. But hey, that's all I have for you today. If you liked today's review, make sure to go to FoxRadioNetwork.com/Nico Says Things. I'm going to have a spoiler cast there for the podcast. You can also check it out on iTunes, and I will be going and delving deep, deep, deep into Star Wars, or Rogue One, a Star Wars story. But as for now, you guys have a happy holidays and may the Force be with you.